Hello, Mike from Canavan Wealth. It is Monday, August 14th. We're doing Mike Reads the Journal today because tomorrow I'll be somewhere between Boise and Moscow, Idaho, bringing my son to college. Jumping into the markets, S&P up about 0.3 today, which puts our 5-day down about 1%, 0.9. I actually expected this to be worse by now. We're still only about 3.5%, 4% off the high. So I think this little kind of downturn, reconsolidation, whatever you want to turn, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better, but we'll just have to see. Hopefully I'll be wrong. This was a fantastic article about deglobalization, kind of countries' efforts to attract very specific industries and subsidies around that, specifically kind of green energy, microchip production, and artificial intelligence, and kind of who's winning that. And it really comes down to who has the deepest pockets that can incentivize these companies to build plants and kind of research centers where they are. So US doing very well. These gray lines are 2012, the kind of pink magenta are 2022. US, kind of foreign investment way up, European Union way down. China, this is a little misleading. If you don't, it's like literally a week or two ago, we talked about how foreign investment in China is way down from last year. So, this is probably just too big of a gap. It had grown substantially after 2012, but is actually probably on a decline as well. So lots of reasons there, which I'm not going to recover. You can go back and watch those kind of old Mike Reads the Journals about that. And then Indonesia and UK are two countries they're using as, up and coming or very successful, countries that just don't have deep enough pockets to be able to attract these businesses. They just don't have economies on the scale of US, China, and the EU. So really interesting article. And on the note of kind of declines and how fast that can happen, two articles here, one about San Francisco and another one about Miami. San Francisco is well known that it's going through what they call a doom loop, or kind of a death spiral, in that vacant offices downtown turn into businesses not being supported, going out of business, leads to crime, and then more companies leave, and it just gets worse and worse. What's shocking is, not 5 years ago, San Francisco was still an up and coming city doing very well. The remote work transition during COVID really hit San Francisco, which is a tech heavy city, extremely hard. We are seeing this in lots of cities, not San Francisco. They just seem to be having the hardest time. But 5 to 10 years ago, San Francisco was one of the premier cities, kind of coming up, but it became so expensive to live there, it kind of drove some people out. And it's, I think, a warning for moving to buying property, investing in those big, surging, up and coming cities, as to how quickly they can downturn, especially in the modern economy that moves so fast. And what could be a more up and coming city than Miami? This is almost like San Francisco 10, 15 years ago, surging city. And this was older, a week or two ago. It's actually back in July. It sees its first population drop in decades. It's not that Miami is, turning a corner and starting a major downturn, but this is a big deal, right? They're attributing it to kind of soaring housing costs. I was talk a little bit about just how hot it's getting down there. So, is Miami going to be following in San Francisco's footsteps? Who knows? I think it'll be, only time will tell. But dropping population is a really tough problem for cities to overcome, just like states, countries, everything. So two interesting articles there. And then the last article, Scary Math Behind the World's Safest Asset. They're talking about treasuries here and interest rates and the US debt, which is a perfect plug. At the end, I will link a video, my debt video, which came out last week, it's really about how people misunderstand the US debt. It's not what they think it is. It is a major problem. This article goes very in depth around that problem that I pointed out, which is really around interest rates and how we have backed ourselves into a corner where we need to get interest rates back down. Otherwise, the cost of the debt is going to get very prohibitive. And then we need to very much focus on not raising the debt and increasing revenue, while limiting the cost of that debt with interest rates, really to get us back to a safe spot. It's not that the cost of the debt has spiraled too far out of control yet, but it very easily can. And we really need to get moving towards that in Washington, both parties. And that's really it. Next week, I have a pre-recorded Mike Reads the Journal. I believe it's around tax deferral because I have a video on tax deferral coming out next week as well. Otherwise, I hope this has been informative. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.